Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock. Cowherd's off today. Coming up, I'll tell you why Lamar Jackson just made another huge mistake. And Nick Swisher's here to tell us if it's World Series or bust for the Yankees. Speak for Yourself starts now. But we begin today in Seattle, where this week the Seahawks cut their backup quarterback, Trayvon Boykin, after domestic violence allegations, which rather predictably sparked a Seattle Times columnist to opine yesterday that Colin Kaepernick should be given strong consideration to challenge Russell Wilson. Writing for the Times, Larry Stone stated that Kaepernick is still the best available choice to light a little bit of a fire under Seahawks starter Russell Wilson. The Seahawks mantra is still always compete, right? Who's going to push Wilson more? Kaepernick, who led his team to a Super Bowl and was one Richard Sherman tip pass from another, or Austin Davis, whom they opted for last year and remains an unsigned free agent? All right, when? When will Kaepernick supporters realize their delusional, unconditional love affair is the biggest impediment to Cap's employment? Kaepernicks, not allegedly racist NFL owners, are keeping Muhammad Ali out of the NFL. Let me remind you of what a Kaepernick is. It's my pet name for the people who irrationally cape up for Kaepernick and defend everything he does as a way of demonstrating their wokeness and racial enlightenment. The Kaepernicks don't give a damn about Colin Kaepernick and his NFL career. They prefer Kaepernick as a martyr, a symbol of America's bigotry. They know Kaepernick has more martyr upside than football upside. Kaepernick is a tool for media elites to brand themselves as pro-black. It's all a bunch of bull, you know what. People think I'm against Colin Kaepernick. I'm not. I actually want him to play football again, earn money, and use that money to support the causes he says he believes in. I think his approach to re-entering the NFL is boneheaded and completely counterproductive. No NFL team, owner, coach, or executive wants a martyr. It's too high risk. No coach, regardless of color, wants to subject himself to the racial second-guessing of the Kaepernicks. You cut, you bench, or say the wrong syllable about Colin Kaepernick, and you open yourself up to accusations of racism from the media peanut gallery looking for Twitter retweets. I'm sure the writer for the Seattle Times is well-intentioned, but he believes Kaepernick could mount some sort of competition with Russell Wilson. Do you know how crazy that is? Wilson is the third best quarterback in the league behind Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Wilson has won a Super Bowl and finished a yard short of a second one. Wilson is a league MVP candidate every year for the rest of his career. Wilson's on track to be the greatest black quarterback in NFL history. But Cap, he's a threat. If Cap really wants to play football, he needs to break his silence and tell his Kaepernicks to stand down. They're the reason the NFL teams are afraid to touch him. All right, joining me now, Reggie Bush, Jeff Schwartz, Danny Cannell. I believe the Kaepernicks are keeping Colin Kaepernick out of the league. Someone convinced me I'm wrong.
The Kaepernicks, that's a funny word, actually.
They're the number one reason he's not in the NFL.
Well, no, I don't believe that. The number one reason why he's not in the NFL is because of the owners. I don't think it has to do with the fans or his supporters to say that they're the reason he's not getting a job or that they can somehow hurt his ability to get a job in the league. I think it could be somewhat disrespectful to Kaepernick and the work that he's put in. But I think if you look at couple of things. The one, he's suing the NFL right now, which is partly an issue of why he's not getting a job. On top of the other things that's going on. But again, I think he could also help himself better by going out to pro days, throwing, inviting coaches and owners just to see him, to see where he is. Because the last we saw, he had surgery, right, on his wrist, on his arms, and some other things. So there's a lot of questions out there, obviously, about whether he can still do it at a high level. And I think he can do a better job by positioning himself like how Johnny Manziel is doing right now, going out to pro days, throwing, improving and showing that I'm willing to do what it takes to get back into the league.
He doesn't do any of that because the Kaepernicks convince him that he's a martyr and a victim. Again, if I'm an NFL owner, I'm afraid of the Kaepernicks. I don't want all these racial allegations.
I agree with that. I agree the owners are holding that a little bit, but I agree with you, too, that the media, every time a quarterback signs, whether it's a third-string quarterback, fourth-string quarterback, the media goes in outrage about Kaepernick not signing. He's not competing for that position. They're not going to sign him to be a backup. To your point about Johnny Manziel, look, Johnny Manziel showed up to pro days. People didn't come to watch him play. He showed up to showcase himself. He's willing to go to the CFL. He's willing to talk to owners, to coaches, to GMs, talk about his process. And I asked around the NFL, I asked people that support Colin Kaepernick, hey, is Colin making an effort to do the same things? They said, I don't know. I don't think he is. So to your point, he's not going around trying to make these extra efforts. And look, I understand he feels I don't have to because I'm better than Manziel. But the NFL owners don't like distractions. We know that's the case. And bringing him in, look, if you bring him in to compete against Russell Wilson, the second Russell Wilson plays poorly, fans are going to berate Seattle, say, play Kaepernick, and that's not fair to Wilson and to the organization.
I think he was really close to going to Seattle last year. I think Seattle would have liked to have him if they could have got him at the right price. But I think Kaepernick's looking at it saying, hey, I was a good quarterback. I deserve starting money or really high backup money, and he's got people in his ear telling him that.
The Kaepernicks.
But the Kaepernicks are correct. But I think where the NFL needs to be careful is I do think it's the owners that are keeping it out. I don't think it's every owner. I think there are some owners that would sign him, that would say, you know what, we'll give him a chance. I think there are some owners that say, no way, I want him on my team. But I think you're hearing more and more players that are getting disgruntled, saying, why isn't that guy on a team? But it's so nuanced. There's more to it than just it's his protest, keep him out, because there is a supply and demand. There is a quarterback who views his value right now as highly paid backup or starter type money, and no one's going to give him that at this point. Until he comes to that realization, he's not going to get a job.
So name me the team that's going to let current players decide how much other guys are getting paid.
No one does.
No
The owners don't like
no other team at all.
That's not going to happen. No. And again, the Kaepernicks and the media that's just constantly feeding this dude poison, bad advice. Instead of people saying, look what Manziel's doing, going out selling himself, showing some humility, saying he'll play anywhere. That's not the message Kaepernick is getting. He's getting inundated with this message, you're a victim, you're a martyr, everybody's racist against you. That's why he can't make good decisions. It would be like somebody cheerleading me at a barbecue restaurant. That's the right thing to do, Jason. That's how you're going to lose weight. And I'd be like, oh, yeah. Again, that's what's good. Kaepernick is removed from good advice because of all this loud cheerleading from people that, again, I don't think care a damn about him.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's some people that may be jumping on the bandwagon, but I think there are also people that do care. And then there's also people that don't like the way that the NFL handled the Kaepernick situation. Last year, the NFL got blindsided completely by all that happened with Kaepernick, guys taking a knee, and it wasn't until the president of the United States came out and said something about black players that the owners finally decided to show union or solidarity, with all the other players, and it was too little, too late, right?
I want to be fair here, though. The president said something about players, stupid players, or whatever he called SOB
okay,
players.
but there were only black players taking a knee.
I understand that, but again, if I'm the only overweight guy here at the table, and they criticize me for being overweight, you can't he only criticized because I'm black, and so I just want. In terms of the NFL mishandling it, or they did something wrong here, I'll push back against that. They let the players do whatever the hell they wanted to do. They're not like the NBA that has a rule on the books that says you must stand for the national anthem. So to me, the mistake the NFL's made, they've given them too much freedom. They're like children that need to be parented. Instead, it's laissez-faire.
The irony is that it was probably going to die if the president didn't say anything.
Yes,
he came out and basically threw gasoline on a fire that was going out.
There were 6 guys who took a knee in week 2, and then Trump spoke, and then over 200 did it. To your point about Cap's value, look, as a free agent, I put a value on myself, but my value is only what the teams want to pay me. So if Kaepernick thinks that his value is $10 million a year, and a team says, you're at $2 million a year, then your value is $2 million a year. Like I know how that works as a free agent. So I think that he needs to maybe evaluate what he wants to get out of the market.
I don't think because he's made $40 million. So he's not in a position where he has to play to continue to make money. I think he's at this point where he's not desperate. But what I would like to hear is a message, a desire to play. Let us know. What are you thinking? Do you want to keep playing, or do you want to be an activist? Because that's the difference where kind of the role model thing, you're kind of right on this one. Manziel is out there saying, I'll do anything to play. 100%. And Kaepernick should get out there and say, you know what? I just want an opportunity. I'm not looking for huge money. Or maybe he'll say, this is what I'm looking for, and I feel like I deserve this. At least we would know what he's thinking.
And you can't keep posting videos of yourself throwing balls by yourself, nobody around you, the one receiver. Like, you got to go out and let your guard down, and like you said, be humble. You know, show them that you're willing to do whatever it takes.
I'm gonna give you another analogy you can relate to, Reggie, and this is the problem with Kaepernick. Again, we've probably both been to the Playboy Mansion back in its heyday.
Why do you assume I didn't go?
I'm talking about the good-looking people at the Look, there were some demands that I had when I went to the Playboy Mansion. But I had to be self-aware enough to know I'm not going to get everything Reggie Bush gets when he goes. And that's the problem with Kaepernick. Again, and my friends actually care about me. So when I went to the Playboy, lower your expectations. Be happy if someone shakes your hand. Be happy with that. Again, but Kaepernick, again, I just go back to it. And Danny, I think you kind of dodged this a little bit. I contend the number one problem is the advice that he's getting, more so than ownership. Because I think if his mindset was right, and I've heard from all of you all, if he was more humble and had more reasonable expectations, he would be in the NFL. Well, so if that's the case,
I wouldn't go that far to say he would be in the NFL, but I would say that he would have a better chance of getting to the NFL because, like you said, he still has the lawsuit out there. It's the biggest. That's a big hurdle.
Man, the Kaepernicks know nothing about football. Like, it drives me nuts every time any quarterback says, "Oh, they think he's better than Kaepernick." That is not the case. What's happening? People showcase their ignorance when they send out tweets like that.
All right, welcome back. Baseball season got started with a bang today, and I'm joined now by Fox MLB analyst Nick Swisher. A lot of big storylines headed into this season. Let's start in Miami, where Derek Jeter took in his first Marlins opening day since taking over the team as part owner and CEO. The Marlins lost today and are expected to be terrible after dismantling the roster in the offseason. All right, Nick, do you think Derek Jeter's Marlins tenure could tarnish? This guy has been the Teflon Don, the most celebrated, flawless, spotless athlete ever. Yeah. And now I think he's going to take a little blowback for dismantling that team and giving away their best players. You think this could tarnish his image?
No way, man. We're talking about Derek Jeter, man. We're talking about the captain. He just took over. We got to give the guy a little bit of time to kind of put a better product on the field. But I do know this. Number one, he looked sharp in that suit right there today, didn't he? For sure. No doubt. Gee, you killing it. And number two, hey, this man has never failed in his life. So let's put it like that. He joined the New York Yankees. They instantly started to win. He joins the Miami Marlins, which, hey, it might be a little different type of job, but this man will be successful, no doubt about it, man. I feel like we're giving him a little bit of it now, but it'll change.
I just think down in Florida, giving away Giancarlo Stanton to the Yankees and everything else they gave away, but giving the Yankees the best home run combination ever, I think that's just going to create some heat for Derek. And again, we saw, and again, this is different than Tiger Woods, but Tiger Woods was like Jeter, almost untouchable. Of course. Until the moment he wasn't, then everything was different.
Yeah, but two different things. I mean, if you're going to be an owner for an organization of a sports franchise, what are you trying to do? You're trying to make money, right? The last 10 years, that organization has lost money. So what is happening now is there is a little bit of changing of the guards. And yeah, I mean, I understand the product might not be all-star caliber, but in the whole end of the thing, every owner for the Marlins this year is like, oh man, we're going to make some money this year.
Not the fans. All right, to New York, where the expectations are sky high for the Yankees this season after adding Giancarlo Stanton to a stacked young team. Even still, Aaron Judge says the team isn't feeling any pressure. Nick, you buying? The Yankees are feeling no pressure?
You know, I was able to be part of the New York Yankees organization, and there is always pressure. And I think the one thing that really stood out to me so far this spring training, I got to spend, about 3 weeks with the guys. And I think the one thing about it is that Aaron Boone is embracing the expectations. I remember when the New York Yankees, if they did not win the World Series, it was a lost year. That is where the expectation level is now. And bringing over a guy like Giancarlo Stanton, I mean, it almost reminds you of like the old Murderers Row. I mean, this team offensively has a chance to do out of this world type of things, but pressure can also make you play better as well. And in my opinion, I felt like being under the bright lights in New York and expecting to win every day made me a better player.
New manager, Stanton added to the lineup, the best home run combination since Maris and Mantle. again, pressure also busts pipes.
It's true. I agree. I mean, I feel like you can look at it both ways. You know, I'm a positive guy, man. You know.
It's World Series a bust for the Yankees.
I agree. I feel like going into this season, the Yankees expect to win the World Series. And I feel like if the expectation level is back to that, I mean, hey, I would like to see a Yankees, Dodgers World Series, just like everybody on the planet. But hey, we'll see in due time.
To Houston, where the Astros will try to defend their first World Series championship and are actually the favorites to win it all again after adding Garrett Cole to their core of exciting young players. Any chance the Astros are actually better than last year?
Yeah, it's shocking to think so, but if you know, I do agree with that statement. You've got just a full year of Justin Verlander, but also too on the other side, as good as they were, adding a number one like Garrett Cole, who is now going to be your number 3. Listen, this kid, the sky is the limit for him, and if he would listen to Justin Verlander and embrace everything that he is about, this kid has a chance to win the Cy Young. Now, I know it's been since the last World Series champ was 2008 with the Phillies to get back to the World Series in 2009, and they've lost. A lot of things need to happen for you. I mean, I'm a horrible prognosticator, man. You know me, I'm not very good at that stuff, but I can give you the stats. It has been a long time, no matter 2008, since a team that won the World Series has gotten back to defend their titles. So, on paper, this team definitely looks like they have a possibility.
All right, let's move to the nation's capital, where Bryce Harper is entering the final year of his contract with the Nationals, and speculation about his future as a free agent is sure to dog him, though he says he's just focused on this year. Do you think Harper's impending free agency will be a distraction?
Well, you hope not, because he's one of the best. He's the top 1% that we have in our game, and for me I want those guys to play well. I mean, it's easy to talk about how gifted these guys are. Now, on the other side, let's think about it in this way. Would you like to make a humongous investment on a player that has not produced in the postseason as well? Just a question to bring up. I feel like, I think in the last couple years, he's hit over 222 with 1 home run in the last couple postseasons. But he is one of the best young talents we have in our game. And I'm not one of those salty vet guys that is upset that people are making more money. I want you to make as much money as you can.
On that point, though, contract years are tough for any athlete.
Of course.
This is the contract year of all contract years in the history of sports. Guys got potentially $400 million on the line.
Totally.
That's quite a burden, don't you think?
Well, I mean, you know, you can look at it like, you know, like you're saying, pressure can burst pipes, or pressure is what you put in your tires. So I think it all just kind of depends on the mentality he wants to take. I think Rizzo bringing over a hitting coach like Kevin Long, who I know extremely well, is going to help Bryce in dealing with this. I think he tried to squash it as much as possible, but you got to know, man, that Bryce Harper, man, you're one of the biggest names in our game. This is going to be spoke about a lot. And regardless of if he has an MVP type season or an all-star type season, I don't think that has any effect on the amount of money this kid's going to get.
All right, to the Angels, who won the offseason sweepstakes to sign Shohei Ohtani. The two-way sensation is making his debut as a DH today and will make his pitching debut on Sunday. I just don't I don't see any way he lives up to the hype. I think it's a mistake for him to try to use him two ways. Pick a spot. Is he a pitcher? Is he a hitter? What is he? Do you think he'll live up to the hype?
Yeah, I mean, on paper, he sure does look like it. And I think that's the greatest part about the beginning of the season is that there's so much that's going to play itself out. I do know this. This is not the best players in Japan. This is the best players on the planet. And the last two-way player that I can remember that was any successful was Babe Ruth. Yeah. And that was 100 years ago. Yeah. So if it hasn't been done by anybody since then, obviously, I would love to see this because this is kind of like a Steph Curry moment, you know, that changes the game. So maybe young kids can have that ability, but these are the best players in the world. If you can only focus on your craft for half the time, I hope he does it. I also feel like I'm not quite sure that his body is going to hold up to the pitching every 5th day, as well as being ready to play physically on the offensive end as well. I hope he does. Shohei, bro, I hope you do your thing. Hasn't been done in a long time, man.
All right, welcome back. Reggie Bush and Danny Cannell are back. Let's move to Lamar Jackson, whose pre-draft decisions continue to raise eyebrows. Jackson had already skipped the 40-yard dash at the Combine and again declined to run today at Louisville's Pro Day, saying, quote, game speed will tell it all. Not only that, after deciding to let his mother serve as his agent, teams are now reportedly having trouble scheduling meetings with Lamar Jackson. This is a disaster. And this is something that could really bite him in the rear end. I think it's already costing him money. I've talked to people that was like, the trading card companies want to put $100,000, $200,000 in his pocket, just autograph. They can't get a hold of him. They can't get a hold of his mother. They can't get return calls. But just more than that, the report has already come out about his Wonderlic score. He scored a 13. Josh Allen, I think, scored a 37. Rosen a 29. Baker Mayfield a 25. And he scores a Why would you take the Wonderlic and refuse to run the 40-yard dash? Why not refuse to take the Wonderlic and run the 40-yard dash, or sign with an agent who would have got you a Wonderlic coach? That's what agents do, and would have helped him elevate his Wonderlic score. This is not good. I think he's going to regret big time not signing with an agent.
Yeah, well, and I feel bad because a couple weeks ago I sat up here and defended his mom being his manager and his agent and saying, like, let's give it a chance to see if it can work out. Well, clearly it's not working out. And clearly there needs to be some form of change because, listen, if you're fast, go and be fast. Go and show that. But then also to that point is, I don't like when some of these kids come out of college and they feel entitled, right? And they feel like, oh, well, I don't have to do this because I've proven that the tape doesn't lie and this and that. Well, what you did in college ain't going to matter when you get to the NFL, right? So you should be doing everything possible, everything you can. If we know you're fast, then go and show it. Go and run a 4.3 because the tape doesn't lie, but at the same time, you should be doing everything to show these coaches, these GMs, these owners that I am your guy. I can be the face of the NFL football team.
I'm with you. When I first heard it, I'm like, it's not that big a deal, right? I mean, he's pretty true. He said, hey, we're going to be slotted. He's right about that. But man, it looked like it's been mishandled. And when you take it all in, this is part of the process, and this is what I'm worried about because I really like him, and I think he's a very raw talent. I think he can be successful at the next level, but I think this is going to crush his stock because people are going to look at him and they're say, all right, as a franchise quarterback, you're going to have to make decisions on a daily basis, whether it's on the field or off the field, what you do on your off days, what you do on your bye weeks, everything that goes into it. And teams are looking at Lamar Jackson, and they're looking at this process, and they're saying, man, these are some really bad decisions, and that is going to really hurt his draft stock.
When you start talking about a quarterback or any player that you want to invest some real money in, it's about who do they allow in their ear to influence them. And you can show good judgment by getting the right advisors around you. That's no disrespect to his mom or anybody. It could have been a good look for her if they had partnered with the right agent, some sort of unique relationship that allowed her to participate. But he needs better advice because, again, if I'm a team, I'm like, well, are they going to let me in there to advise him as the coach, as the offensive coordinator, as the general manager, as the owner? That would be my concern.
And that's what agents are for, is to help navigate that relationship because a lot of agents have relationships with the owners, with the GMs, and that they can help and they know what these coaches and these teams are looking for. And so to your point is, man, run the 40-yard dash. You know what I mean? We know you're fast, but like, go ahead and show us just one more time. Like, rather than not running the 40-yard dash and feeling somewhat entitled, like I've proven it in college. Well, have you seen Ndamukong Suh tackle quarterbacks? Have you seen Aaron Donald, how fast he is and how fast he can get to quarterbacks? These defensive linemen, these defensive ends and linebackers are way faster at the next level. They don't get slower, and it gets harder.
But I'm just thinking as a business person, as his agent or, again, his mom, whoever, there was a chance for him to run the 40, and let's say he runs a 4.32, creates that buzz and excitement. Adidas, Under Armour, Nike's going to be like, oh, my God, we can get a commercial out of that, out of his 4.32 and the speed he's going to bring, and it's just going to increase his value, and it generates a positive news story about him that just creates momentum and excitement in the community. He's the next Michael Vick.
The only excuse I would give him, and again, this goes to the narrative or the message that you're going to put out there, what your agent should do or your manager, is if he said, I don't want to put out a 4.32 because I don't want to switch to receiver. Because that is a conversation, and he does not want to play receiver, and I don't think he should want to play receiver. But if you're going to kind of create a narrative, I think that should be it. Not, hey, I ran on film. Like, that's all you need to see. I don't like that. That's not the message you should be putting out there.
And then he also, He's already shown that he's fast, right? So
Right.
he's already we know you're gonna be fast, right? So just go out and do it one more time, and it's not gonna hurt anybody.
A lot of it's just showing you're in shape,
Yeah.
like showing you're, like that's a lot of what these
Yeah,
workouts
exactly.
are about. You're healthy.
Well, despite the drama, some big names showed up to watch Lamar today, including Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Kevin Colbert, who just yesterday said the team is looking for a quarterback to take over when Ben Roethlisberger decides to retire, an event that appears to be coming sooner rather than later. And so I think he's the perfect fit for Pittsburgh. I think, again, he's a little quirky in his relationship with his mom. Mike Tomlin might be the right young coach who can relate to this kid and develop a relationship with him. But just going beyond that, and I know this transpired before Mike Tomlin, the Steelers, to me, with Cordell Stewart, Antoine Randall, they've already shown in their DNA they know what to do with an athletic quarterback. Yeah. And I think Big Ben's got 2 years, 3 years tops left. Perfect situation to sit, learn the game. Yes. And also get some snaps, because I think the Steelers would be creative enough to get him on the field, even with Big Ben there. They would figure out a way to get him behind center. I'm not talking about some other position, but get him behind center and use him there. I love the fit of him and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm not sure if there is a perfect fit for anybody, but I think this is a good fit. I think any team he can go to and learn behind a future Hall of Fame quarterback like a Ben Roethlisberger or Drew Brees, we've heard those connections. I think that's a good thing for him, because then he can learn how to manage the game, how to approach the game on a daily basis. And then also, at the quarterback position, especially in the NFL, the longer you stay in that pocket and you don't run, the less hits you're going to take on your body. And we've seen quarterbacks who've run and maybe not be as successful, but you look at Carson Wentz last year. Carson Wentz was a great quarterback. And the second he took off and ran, what happened? Season was over. So I think he can learn specifically from Big Ben of how to just manage that pocket, stay in that pocket, and you don't have to go out and take off running every time, right?
He's the rawest talent of this group, but he is extremely talented. Yeah. I really believe he could be Michael Vick 2.0. Yeah. And if you looked at Michael Vick coming out of Virginia Tech, he didn't have anywhere near the success throwing the football that Lamar Jackson did. And you can say, well, I think most people would say, all right, I would take Michael Vick's career, and if you could get that out of Lamar Jackson, I think you're sitting in a pretty good spot. Michael Vick himself even said Lamar Jackson's 5 times the quarterback I was coming out of college. Yeah. But I do think, sure. No, he's electric. Lamar Jackson is a special passer, and I think he's underrated as a passer. I think he's got some skills.
Did Michael Vick get to play in this current bubble screen version of college football?
He did not.
No.
He did not. And so, again,
that offensive VTech wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. But this makes Lamar Jackson more prepared than Michael Vick was coming out of Virginia Tech.
Sure.
I'm going to cut an inch deeper on this Pittsburgh Steelers thing and why I think it's the perfect fit. You guys are actually the perfect guys to ask this, to respond to this. I think if you know Big Ben's history, Big Ben, for lack of a better description, he's brother friendly. The brothers love Big Ben. And so when I think about the right quarterback to pair with Lamar Jackson, you can go all the way back to his college days in Miami of Ohio. You can go to talk to any of his Pittsburgh Steelers teammates. And it's not that other quarterbacks aren't, but I just think Big Ben's the perfect guy to be the big brother to this guy, where if you threw him to Seattle with Russell Wilson. I'm not sure if there's a personality match. No. You throw him to New England with Tom Brady or Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. Big Ben, there are different quarterbacks, different personality types that connect with teammates across racial lines or, if you're a little bit hood. I just think Big Ben's the right guy.
And also the Pittsburgh Steelers culture, too. And then on top of that, the other thing we're forgetting is that more than not, Big Ben is injured. So the backup quarterback usually plays in Pittsburgh, which will be could be a good situation for Lamar Jackson to go in there, get some reps for a couple weeks, and then obviously back to the bench and playing behind Ben. But just to be able to get that learning experience from that quarterback and from that team, I think it'll serve him great.
I think Ben would be totally comfortable mentoring him too. Some of those quarterbacks we mentioned would not, and I think Lamar Jackson is going to drop in the draft, and I think whatever team gets him is going to get the steal of all these quarterback classes because of the value.
All right, welcome back. We're joined now by NBA champion Caron Butler and the founder of the big lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to the Cavaliers, who easily beat the Hornets last night, and despite the drama around the team, have actually been on something of a tear lately. Cleveland is now 5-1 since Coach Ty Lue took a leave of absence to deal with health issues, and there still doesn't appear to be any timetable for Lue's return. I said this at the time, and I was laughed at and mocked by Jason McIntyre and others, that if they had some success without Ty Lue would start showing up on milk cartons around America, and I think we've spotted a milk carton. I think we have one here in Los Angeles now. Ty Lue's missing in action, and it's because LeBron James wants to control this team. It's their only hope of being successful this year, make LeBron completely happy, do things his way. That's their only shot this year to win it all and to have a chance of retaining LeBron James. And it's not a shot at Ty Lue, what I'm saying here, but I just thought when I heard, oh, he's going to be out a week. Well, that was 2 games ago, and he still ain't came back. He's on a milk cart. No one's even talking about it. It's not a big issue. The coach is MIA, was supposed to be back, but no one's even discussing it. I put the chances at 75% that we never see Ty Lue the rest of this season, coaching the Cavaliers. I put the chances at 75%.
Hey, listen, had an opportunity to talk to Coach Larry Drew, who's filling in for Ty Lue, and he had said that this has been an ongoing situation with Coach Lue. And most important thing for him is his health. So going forward, they felt like they can buy him some time. Knew Kevin Love was cavalry coming over the hill. So with Kevin Love returning to that lineup, they felt like they can sustain and play good basketball and hopefully get their coach back.
Do you think we'll see Ty Lue again this season? What would you put the chances of him coming back this season?
I would say 50-50.
That's not a bad number.
My case has been made.
I wouldn't say 75, but I would say 50-50 chance.
First, let me give you props. That was a rare good call by you, Ty Lue, showing up on a milk cart. But I want to go back. You guys, February 3rd, do you remember this story came up? Woj broke it at ESPN. Ty Lue, we're not firing him. That's what the Cavs told Woj after the Cavs had lost, I believe, 12 of 18. We're not firing Ty Lue. So now, 6 weeks later, Ty Lue, all of a sudden, medical emergency. He's out. Are you putting these two together? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Dan Gilbert knows one of the few chances to keep LeBron, getting rid of Ty Lue and saying, who do you want as coach, LeBron? You got to cater to your superstar, Caron. You know that. This is a guy who is a free agent in a couple months. And if Ty Lue's not jiving with LeBron on the bench and they're arguing in Portland, hey, Ty Lue's going to be the odd man out.
But here's the thing. They have catered to him the whole time, this whole process. Ty Lue is the coach because LeBron wanted him to be the coach.
Until
he doesn't.
Ty Lue decided, you know what, I'm actually going to coach this team.
I still think that he lets LeBron have his fingerprints on what's going to happen out there with the team and let him play the minutes that he wants to play. And because of that, they have had a tremendous amount of success together.
LeBron's not satisfied with fingerprints. He wants to control the whole thing. He wants the joystick. He wants to control the joystick. And again, I just think if you go back, there was the incident with LeBron yelling at Ty Lue on the sidelines. And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 games later, or a game and a half, 2 games later, Ty Lue is sick and has to step away. He'll be back in a week. It's week 2, and he's not back. I saw this come. If they had any success, Ty Lue would not reappear.
Let me flip it on you. How much does Ty Lue want to come back? Because guess what? If they lose in the playoffs to the Raptors or the Celtics or even in the finals, guess who's getting blamed? It ain't going to be LeBron. We know he's tearing it up. It'll be Kevin Love or Tyronn Lue. Those are the 2 guys who are going to get the blame. They're not blaming Clarkson or Nance. It's going to be Ty Lue who's going to be the fall guy.
Or Kobe Altman. They're not blaming him.
Hey, he's a little young, but yeah.
It depends on how those guys step up, particularly when I saw the game in Miami. And obviously they bounced back in Charlotte, but the others did not step up. LeBron had a tremendous game. He was his usual self, could have scored a little bit more, but, he's playing astronomical basketball, astronomical numbers, like he has a taste of vibranium in him or something. You know what I mean? So
He's made of vibranium.
but other guys need to step up in a major way, and with Kevin Love not out there, I don't see that consistent other playmaker like you've seen with Kyrie Irving.
We agree. LeBron's from Wakanda. All right, well, LeBron had another big game last night, dropping 41 on Michael Jordan's Hornets, which was fitting since the game actually tied him with MJ for the longest streak of double-digit scoring in NBA history at 866 games. LeBron's admitted he's chasing Jordan's ghost, and some people are making a big deal out of this record. I'm not one of them. I'd never heard of this record until it happened, and now, again, anything that LeBron tied his shoes on 4 consecutive nights on the road, same as Michael Jordan. You know, one of the reasons I've never been, as a kid, baseball was so tied to stats, and I was like, I don't care. I like the beauty of the game. Too stats driven, and so LeBron attaching himself to all these stats all year. That's all we've heard. Stats. I'm congratulating myself on 30,000. I'm congratulating. This means nothing to me.
I would say that every stat that LeBron has attached himself to has been earned. It's not like the traditional stats where you're seeing now that's becoming trending, where you see guys scoring on a Thursday, raining in California, after 7 o'clock analytical stat. You're seeing LeBron actually going out there and making history in his body of work. You know, you're not going to be able to tell the story of basketball without mentioning LeBron James. So I put him in that breath. Michael Jordan, Kareem, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, all in that breath. That's where I got him at.
Listen, of course it helps him.
He's in that
Come
breath.
on. Okay, Kobe Bryant, go.
No. You didn't mention Magic Johnson or Larry Bird.
Magic Johnson, obviously, but hey, look, you want me to go down the whole list, or you want me to just give you a brief list?
No, before you say Kobe, Magic and Larry should be recognized and hat tipped, and then Kobe. Continue.
That's a fair.
I still got Kobe as the greatest Laker to play the game.
But back to LeBron and Michael Jordan. Yeah, come on, we're not going to go there. Hey, let me just say this, okay? LeBron James every year has taken off time around February or March and gone on like a spring break. He's going to go to Miami and rejuvenate, take time off. LeBron hasn't taken any time off. All he does every night is show up, double digits points. He's an assist leader, career year in assists for LeBron James. Everything he does is being compared to Michael Jordan. You know whose name we're not hearing this year? James Harden. LeBron doesn't talk about James Harden. He don't care about Harden as MVP. Everything is past Harden, past MVP. It's LeBron, it's Jordan, it's legacy. That's what he's doing. He answered the critics last year. You crushed LeBron for not showing up every night, and he never played 82 games. What does he do this year, Whitlock? He goes and plays 82 games. He's averaging 37 minutes a night. I think that's most or second most in the league. When are you going to put some respect on this man's name?
Year 15.
First of all, I put a lot of respect on LeBron James' name.
Barely.
I don't need LeBron James keeping his own stats.
He's not keeping.
I don't want him to be Dominique Wilkins.
That's just like if I say, hey, Jay, look, you got the tightest show on Fox, man. You doing
That's
this,
all facts.
and here's the numbers, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, well, you know,
I don't need the numbers to tell me that, Karan. I already know it. I don't have to brag about how great I am. Everybody knows I'm great. This is the same thing for LeBron James. Again, look, I should be a role model for LeBron James on how to conduct yourself as a superstar. And I say that kiddingly, but again, I don't need LeBron keeping his own stats, and that's what he's been doing all year. It's annoying. Let me keep the stats. Let me talk about LeBron James. Let me write a letter to LeBron James. I'm talking about the media. Let us do that rather than LeBron writing letters to himself. LeBron I want to congratulate myself on 30,000 points and all this other stuff.
This is where social media is penalizing LeBron James for this. You know, if Michael Jordan had
He wouldn't be sending out Instagram.
Michael Jordan was a legendary trash talker. He would run his mouth all the time. You don't think he would have been on Instagram?
If you don't love yourself, who will?
Ooh, that's well said. I like that.
If you don't love yourself, who will? That's all he's doing. He just
you know what? And you know what?
He paying homage to himself.
Let me just say, and you should make love to yourself privately, in the privacy of your own bathroom or bedroom, not out in front of everybody else. It's grotesque. Nobody wants to see that. That's the mistake LeBron James is making.
This is a blame on social media and the 24-hour news cycle, Whitlock. How many cameras did Michael Jordan have in his face in the regular season in 1991? Couldn't be half of what LeBron deals with right now. Every single night, LeBron is everywhere all the time. They're in his face. He can't help it. What do you want the guy to say?
You don't think Michael Jordan, the GOAT, would have posted saying, yeah, y'all just saw my demonstration
This is the same Michael
I just
Jordan
did?
who took a shot at his high school coach at his Hall of Fame introduction.
That's right.
Come on, he remembers everything.
He left it on the court, and then at the appropriate time when his career was over, he told everybody how great he was and how he did it. That's all I want from LeBron
He didn't have
James.
social media, so he had to wait for the moment to be
You blew
right.
it because he didn't have to. He was so great, he didn't have to. It's like did Michael Jackson make albums about how great Michael Jackson is? No, he put out Thriller and it spoke for itself. All right, welcome back. Time for last call. Let's move to Saquon Barkley, who shot to the top of some draft boards after an incredible combine performance, but not that of our buddy Joel Klatt, who said recently that no running back should ever be taken first overall. All right, we got a Heisman Trophy winner sitting next to me.
Come on, Joe. What are you talking about, man?
You went number 2 in the draft.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, if he's talented, why not?
Take him. I mean, listen, what do we, chop liver over here with running backs? Like, listen, running backs control the tempo of the game. And listen, Saquon Barkley, I've been big on this guy, for a long time. And I think he has everything that you want in a running back, in the face of the franchise. He's humble. He works hard. He's a gym rat. I mean, he has everything that you would want in drafting a quarterback. And listen, I don't know what Joe's. I know he's a quarterback. You know what I mean? So maybe he got something personal against us. But
I think that the Kamara kid in New Orleans makes me value Saquon even more because that's who I would compare him to.
100%. Well, I don't know. They're a little different in running styles, but Saquon Barkley, man, this guy is a beast. He can do it all. Listen, and you look at the notable. First overall running backs, Bo Jackson, Earl Campbell, O.J. Simpson, right? Like, you got to pick these guys when they're available. And listen, I've always said that the New York Giants need Saquon Barkley.
To Johnny Manziel, who threw in front of NFL scouts at Texas A&M's Pro Day yesterday and actually earned some praise, including from one scout who said he looked better yesterday than he did when he first came out of college.
Yeah.
Does Johnny Manziel deserve to be back in the NFL?
I think he does. He's going out there. He's proving. He's showing that he's ready. He's more mature. We've had scouts there just saying that his velocity is great, pretty good accuracy, all those things. So it should be that.